celebrating successful women all over the RVA, women who are making money, doing what they love, loving what they do, owning and operating their own small businesses. I'm your host, Lisa Linnell, and we've got a great show lined up. June is the month for dads. Father's Day is June 18th. So we have a show about dads and daughters working together and dads, husbands and wives working together. So June is for dads and dollars, family businesses getting the job done. And this is just part one. We're going to meet Jake Pasternak of Jake and Dean Uncommon Coasters. And then at the bottom of the hour, we're going to meet Robert Bortone and Kristen Bortone, his wife, and hopefully one of their daughters, Miss Bortone. And they all, uh, Robert and Kristen, own Kristen's Kitchen food truck, and it's a family run business. So that's going to be fun, fun, fun for Father's Day shows. Um, and while we're waiting for Jake Pasternak of Jake and Dean's Uncommon Coasters to come on. Oh, he is here. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hey.
Jake. It's nice to
Hello,
see.
I'm
Oh,
here.
we got
Yeah.
two. We got a twofer. Okay, I
Yeah.
wasn't sure about that. Okay, very cool. Well, let me give you both a proper introduction. So I believe I met you, Jake, at the Henrico Animal Rescue show. Was that you, Jake, that I
Yes.
met, or was that Dean?
Yes.
Okay. And so I met you and I saw your product line, which was coasters. And that sounds so boring, right? Oh, what do you do? I sell coasters. But it was so cool. I was blown away how good you can make a coaster look. So let me talk a little bit, first of all, about our two guests, Jake and Dean. And I believe you're both dads, correct?
We are.
Yeah. So that happy Father's Day in advance to you. And that's one of the
Thanks.
reasons you're on this the month of June here. So they sell coasters, but really they don't sell coasters. They sell joy and happiness. Because when you look at these coasters, you're like, oh wow, this is so cool. So Jake Pasternak is an entrepreneur, a business leader. He was born in Richmond. He has a master's in economics from North Carolina State University. He was a visiting professor of economics at the University of Richmond until 2002. He worked as a senior economist for Chumera, I think I'm saying that right, Economics and Analytics. He founded Plexicon in '04, which was an organization dedicated to teaching personal finance to children. So that's nice. Um, in '09, he started Helping Hands Veterinary Clinic. And in 2020, he co founded Jake and Dean's Uncommon Coasters to create products that bring nostalgia and joy to the public. And his partner in business is Dean Whitbeck. And Dean is originally from California. We won't hold that against you, by the way, Dean.
But I'm
He
here.
earned, he was a graduate of St. Mary's College in California. He was a teacher in the Bronx, New York. Wow, that's fortitude. And then he did a director of education at the Visual Arts Center in Richmond, and he founded Profits, a social entrepreneurship program that partners with national B Corps and social impact businesses to provide mentorship, training, and financial literacy to young adults. In 14, he started Dean Whitback, a photography and visual design business. And then along the way, he's had lectures. He's been featured in a TED Talk, and then he co-founded with Jake Pasternak for Jake and Dean Uncommon Coasters. So you all both had like a roller coaster ride of careers, just kind of melding into this final sort of entrepreneurial venture that started 3 years ago. So welcome to Richmond Business Babes. You guys are really phenomenal. So when I met you, Jake, at
Yes.
the at the show, and I was looking at your products. Hold up one of your coasters for those who are live streaming. They are certainly uncommon. And what makes them so special, gentlemen? Tell us how you got this idea and where it led you.
Well, we started, it was in quarantine. It was everyone was doing the big pivot, and
Mhm.
Jake and I our backstory. Jake and I have known each other. In fact, Jake was the first person I met when my family moved here 15 years
Aw,
ago. He and his
that's
wife.
nice.
So
Okay.
he's been a dear friend for years.
Uh-huh.
And I was visiting with him out at the beach one day, and we were just talking about cards and so forth. We both loved them, and we
You're
were
talking about
like,
baseball cards.
yeah. And we
Yeah.
just thought about
Mhm.
like ways in which we could take cards that we weren't being used, and we were trying different ideas about them. And finally, later that afternoon, sort of the idea of a coaster came up. And so we spent probably, I don't know, the next couple months, I was in my garage just, using a lot of resin and trying to make them. They were
Yeah.
very raw, kept doing that. And then
Right.
we knew that we were onto something. And we took our cards that we weren't using. We just were packaging them. Like during quarantine in the fall and the winter, we would go to breweries and cafes, and we would just drop them on tables and see how they would react. And
Cool.
we
So
didn't
you were
even do
testing the
coasters yet.
waters. You weren't even selling them. You were just
No, we were just
you wanted
dropping
to
like literally.
overhear the reaction.
Yeah, and people during that
Ah.
time would lose they groups of people, because we were all in the same place during quarantine. And what we
Mhm.
found was that, I'd always kind of felt like nostalgia was way undervalued.
Mhm.
And what we found was just that it wasn't that people were going back necessarily in time. We were creating a product and an idea that made people feel good and that was joyful. And I think we
Mhm.
hit it at the right time, because it's
Mhm.
exactly what people needed. And then we
Yeah.
did that for yeah, whatever it was, for the next 3 or 4 months. And
Well,
when we
what were
felt like we
I want take me back to, going to breweries and everything and putting your coasters on tables.
Mhm.
So, you were overhearing the comments, or
No,
you
we would like
actively said
literally
to people like, "Hey, what do you
Jake and
think of
I,
this?"
we were stealthy. We would sit in like we would sit in the back at a
Yeah.
like just kind of a table, and
Yeah.
like I wouldn't say anything. I'd
Yeah.
just walk up to a table, or Jake would, and we would just say, "Hey, these are cards that we've repackaged. We're Jake and Dean, and they're just for you guys at the table to open," and we'd leave.
Oh,
That's all we do.
wow. And
And we
like,
just go
when you
back
were
to
in
our
the back of the brewery, were you
yeah,
like, "How about that couple over there? They look like good candidates," like, kinda
kind of.
Yeah,
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 staking out?
exactly.
"Ah, no, not them, not them. They look grumpy."
A little bit,
Yeah.
but we would
Yeah.
just watch reactions of how people were responding, and it was a kind of a way for us to gain data
Yes.
and see if this was actually
Cool.
gonna work.
And what pushed you over the tipping point where you said, "People are responding positively and we can make money"? How did that come about?
We 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 decided after testing, this out, to join in the pop-up market. And we, we had several products. The main one was our coaster, and we had like tremendous interest, and and it was like right after coming out of COVID, and everything was spread out, but we just found that our stuff just made people so happy. Like
Mhm.
it was, we knew we had something, like when we
Right.
started there.
I
So
remember that
you have
on
a formula where, and I'm sorry, I just wanna clarify one thing, and Ron, my producer, the remarkable Ron, I can't see them anymore on the screen. Where are they? Did we lose them? No, because I wanna see the coaster when they hold it up. I can't see it. Yeah. So there you go. Okay, hold up your, can you zoom in on that or get it closer? There you go. Oh, nice. Okay. Now you have, oh, nice. I like the logo. Um, so okay. So oh, that's nice too. 4-leaf clovers. Look at that. So you do custom work as well. So if I came to you and said, "Hey, here's a picture of my wedding day," or, my husband and my first date or whatever, you could make coasters out of that as well, correct?
Yeah. I mean, the
So
background was that
is it half and half that your revenue is coming from, half custom, half just, what
the customs are custom. So they're custom ordered. You can find them
Mhm.
on our website. They're the one thing about our customs that everything that we do is an original artifact or object. We never reproduce anything, and that partly is for legal reasons, and that's partly
Oh,
that we are committed. And I think that's the game changer for us is that when people purchase a product from us, they're actually getting the real thing. They're not
ah,
getting an art. They're not getting a replica or a photocopy or anything. So
oh, I
with
see.
the customs, we decided that in order to do it right, in order to kind of keep the nostalgic feel, that we print the customs as Polaroid style. So what you're getting is actually a Polaroid that we print.
Ah,
It's really beautiful. So it's not even it's your picture that's printed as a Polaroid, and then it is we do the same process. It's embedded
and do
in
you do
resin.
that for legal reasons as well?
No, just for unique
No.
reasons.
Oh, okay. So
It just
how much Yeah, no, go ahead. No.
it's just a way here. I think Jake has, so you can kind of see
Is that
which one is.
Marilyn
Oh, that's,
Monroe?
do you have a custom
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or just like
Oh,
not
here.
that one, but like one of the
Well,
Polaroids.
here's something that
You're gonna have to bring it closer. What is that? Oh, that's a lighter.
Yeah,
Oh, cool. So very 3D object as well. So it's
yeah.
not just a flat print necessarily. So that's very what is the thickness of that coaster? Are they all the same thickness?
it's the thick ones are about half an inch or so. It depends on the
Wow.
thickness of the item.
That is
Um,
cool.
and then we've got like we've got an Atari cartridge. Asteroid.
That's funny. You're making Ron laugh.
So just yeah. So
Very cool. Yeah, describe it for those who are just on
yeah.
the radio
Um,
and not
It's so
online.
visual.
yeah, yeah. It's a original Atari cartridge of Asteroids that we've encased in a mega coaster. So you can display it on
Cool.
the table or on the wall if you like.
Yeah.
We are just we've done a lot of different items, but what's really cool is that our core items like that are like the cards or the individual like 4-inch coasters. Those just have like really taken off and made like a lot of people happy. So,
That's great. Now, on average, and I know there's different size coasters and there's probably different time constraints to produce, a coaster that's a picture versus a coaster that's embedded with a actual, lighter. I mean, I'm sure it takes a little bit longer and a little bit more skill to do that. So, but on average, what is the price point per coaster?
The coasters, if you're looking at a basic card coaster like this, they're
Uh-huh.
$20 each or 4 for 60.
Okay.
And the price range for some of our other customs that you saw that were the resin, there was a thicker layer of resin.
Yeah.
Those range anywhere from $30 to $100,
Okay.
depending upon the size and also depends upon how we sourced the object inside.
Right.
Um, because sometimes we have these great ideas, we go find them, and then when we source them, we're like, ooh, that was a little pricier than we thought, but
Uh,
we know that it's an item that will reach really deep into the memory of somebody. And what we
yeah.
found, we found that even at a price point at $20 a coaster,
Mhm.
which might seem like a lot,
Mhm.
but no one has ever balked at that.
Yeah.
No one
Well,
has ever
and
touched.
when I saw your display there at the event, the quality is unbelievable.
Mhm.
I mean, and I would hesitate to even call it a coaster. I mean, who would even want to put a drink on that? I mean, it's really
Right.
artwork, right?
No, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
Yeah, we've got stands for them, and I think the majority of people
Oh,
that
that's nice.
use them like place them on the stands.
yeah. Or,
Yeah.
we've had people buy them, and have, used them as backsplash. We
Oh,
sell little
oh,
people have
okay.
sent us, photographs of they
Oh,
buy them,
cool.
especially our
Yeah.
music ones, and we have these little
Ah.
clips, and I hang them on walls.
Oh,
Yeah.
neat, neat. Well, which one of you, and I know you're gonna say it was collaborative effort, but which one of you really said, "Hey, let's make coasters"? Who said that?
Um, well, I think it was Dean because we initially started making light switches,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
but it was so hard to get the hole in for the light switch that
yeah,
and we figured the demand for light switches is just not the same as for coasters.
Right.
right,
But they look
right.
so good on the white, like before we cut the hole, and that sort of s- turned the gears towards
Yeah.
coasters.
Because we
Oh,
only like when we first started, it was that one day I was out at the beach with Jake, and then after we were like, okay, now that's when I went home and sort of played with it, the coaster idea, and it was very raw, and so that's how. And then I brought it to Jake, and we were like, maybe we hadn't. Neither one of us had seen anything quite like this,
uh-huh.
and we saw also the repurposing and the
We
yeah, I mean, like we knew that it wasn't just a matter of taking a card. We were doing something that we felt was reimagining what an old trading card could be, which is more. I mean, these things were sitting in people's basements
Yeah,
collecting dust.
right,
They were
and then they could enjoy it and look at it every day. So
absolutely.
that's a nice thing. You're
Yeah.
spreading joy, that's wonderful. Um, so on average, $20 a coaster. So what is your profit margin? I mean, would you like to talk about those numbers? Are you
yeah,
comfortable
well,
talking about that?
we've been very aggressive this year in growing our business,
Mhm.
and we just went to High Point,
Yes, I wanted to
the
talk
High
about
Point
that.
Market.
Yeah.
It was really great. We had a booth there, and we talked with a lot of vendors there, and a
Mhm.
lot of people. We reached out and met up with Amazon. We've
Oh,
just
cool.
launched our Etsy shop. We're going to be on Amazon within the month. We've learned a lot about,
Fair too.
yeah, fair, like a wholesale, like outlet. So we made a concerted effort this year you know, to go ahead and try to spread the word beyond the local beyond the local area. And we'll be this weekend at the Pride Fest in DC. So
Mhm.
we've got a booth with over 100,000 people. So the cost varies, just depends upon one-offs or not. But our goal is to just grow to where we're a go-to for anyone looking for holiday gifts like this season. We can make people very happy.
That's great. Well, and I'm sure you guys are feeling pretty good about it as well. So when you went to North Carolina it was High Point, right? You said High
Yes.
Point, North Carolina. Okay. So your goal, you got a booth. How much was the booth, by the way?
It was around 3,000 or $4,000
And was that for a weekend or is that a week
for
long
5
event?
days.
5 days.
5
Okay.
days.
So that was an investment of time and money, obviously. Um, so your goal at that point was to have to meet with shopkeepers and people
Um,
who so you would become the wholesaler to them. Is that correct?
yes, for some shops and also the interior designers for um,
Oh,
our custom
yes. How was
coasters.
that received? Did you get some good connections
Yeah,
there? Yeah.
we're still, working through our contacts.
Oh, nice.
Another thing we, another thing that really launched our business this past year was we had a meeting with the owner of Independence Golf Course and
Yes.
got a physical shop there.
Cool.
just this
What
past
is his name?
October.
I have read a lot about him, and his name
It's
escapes me right now.
Gift Breed. He's
Okay.
just really
He
wonderful
is
guy.
very open-minded to so many
Mhm.
things. I've read, how he's expanding things there, and then I think they put in the zip line, and they just
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
all kinds of farmers markets, and they're just very he's very forward
He's
thinking.
very open. In fact, a great story is when we first met him the first day, set up an appointment, we talked to the pro shop, they connected us. So we have a meeting with Gift. We all sit down, and one of the first things that he said to us, because he had seen him, and he
Mhm.
said, "Who else knows about this?"
Ooh, that's a
And
good
I
sign.
don't think either one of us really knew how to take that question. And I mean, but clearly the intent of the question was, I wouldn't say clearly, but based upon how the reception was that I want you guys here. If no one has you guys, you're not in any store, come here and we'll work together.
Nice.
Let me see how you guys do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I would imagine that most of the product line at Independence Golf Course is sports related. Is that correct? Or
It's
a lot?
a lot of it is. We've got a lot of golf, coasters, and we're doing some custom work, like with if golfers have a scorecard they want to like
Oh, all
commemorate,
right.
we can make it into 6-inch or 12-inch tiles that they can put on the wall or
Nice.
wherever they like.
What if like a golfer had a hole in one and he saved the ball? Is it are your coasters deep enough?
Mhm.
That's not deep enough, is it? For
Yeah,
to embed a
it's
golf ball?
what I do is I take the ball, I cut the ball, and it sticks out, and so it's
Oh,
on the
neat.
coaster, and then I shave the golf tee so it fits flat,
Right.
and so it's like a golf
Oh.
ball with the tee underneath and the
You have
scorecard.
one of those there to show
Yeah,
me?
let me
Mm.
check. Let me
Yeah,
check
Okay,
see
it's
if I've
cool.
really
got one.
beautiful.
So now,
He- yeah.
so $20 on average per coaster. So what is your, is this your primary business for both of you, or are you doing other things as well? Or are
No,
you all in this
yeah,
together?
I mean, Jake works on it pretty much full time, and then I work on it, but comparably. But I work full time, and then do the hustle in the evening with Jake.
Okay. So what do you do full time?
I do workforce development for kids, so I do community outreach. I work with local businesses to find young adults employment.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so so you're still doing that. That was
Yeah,
what you
Yeah.
had started. Oh, okay. Look, Ron, he's showing. Oh, that looks so cool.
isn't that
Show
good
us
stuff?
the side view for the depth. Oh, nice. Very nice. I'm not much of a golfer, but maybe I'll give you a bowling cart.
A bowling ball.
Yeah, bowling ball. I think
Yeah.
that would be too big of a coaster, but that's really good looking. Well, so now what is the profit margin? I mean, you have your shop. Is it at one of your houses, or where are
No,
you
it's
operating
it's
out of?
it's at it's the old golf shop it's the old shed at Independence that they
Okay, so
used
it's on site there.
during COVID to check people in.
It literally
Okay,
is a tool shed.
tool shed, and that's where you manufacture. That's where you're doing
Um,
the manufacturing.
no, we do that at our like we've got in my basement. I've got like a lot of stuff
Oh,
going
okay.
on.
Okay, so I thought you were selling in the pro shop. So
Yeah,
you're
we
selling
sell
in
in
a
the pro
separate
shop too.
in the pro shop too. Okay.
We sell in the
Oh,
pro shop, and then as you drive into Independence, we have, I don't know if it's a brick and mortar, it's more like wood and concrete, but it's totally on brand. But it
yeah.
literally is an old tool shed that we sort of reconverted into a small little sales shop.
Oh, cool. Well, I haven't been there in a very, very long time. I live right up the road in Powhatan, so I know where it is.
You got to come by.
Yes, I will. I plan to. Ron, the remarkable Ron, are you going to come with me? He's laughing at
Come
me.
on, Ron.
Dude, I'm a busy dude, but it sounds. Kudos to you guys.
Yeah.
Kudos to you guys.
We'll have to put
Yeah.
Ron's microphone. We get a coaster with your original microphone.
Over again. No
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, so you didn't answer the question yet. Are you able to talk about finances? What are you
It's
comfortable with
yeah.
that?
We're like in a growth phase right now, so we've been putting a lot of resources in.
Mhm.
So it's, you know, it's our goal to, it's hard to say because there's a lot of fixed costs going into it. So
I see.
it's heavy fixed cost, and
Have you turned a
it
profit
does like
yet?
what's that?
Have you turned a profit yet? Are you in the black
Yeah,
or
yeah, like,
you are?
May was, very profitable.
Good.
We're, we're really, going strong,
Mhm.
and,
Good.
we
Well,
invested a lot back in the business this year to,
uh-huh.
grow.
Obviously, just going to High Point was a huge investment. And what
Yeah.
what is the cost of the booth for the Pride Fest in DC?
It's like, I think it's around $800,
Oh,
but
okay.
it was one of our best events last year when we did it. So
Mhm.
we're spending like all day tomorrow and much of Saturday, coordinating our booth for this weekend.
Okay.
The one
Hopefully
thing I
the
will say
weather will
about
change.
that one thing that's really helped our growth is, I think Jake and I have approached probably more Jay, this like that the marketing in the most unique ways,
Mhm.
and also not only marketing but also knowing that we both have a deep belief in having a charitable arm, and so we have a charitable arm, a really uh, a fantastic one that we don't necessarily use for marketing at all, but it certainly does push a side of our business that people want to support.
And
And
that
the charitable
charitable
arm is called,
arm is what?
uh, yeah, it's called Project Repurpose,
Project
and
Repurpose. Okay.
it's really grown. In fact, just today I dropped off 2 or 3 boxes to the Flying Squirrels. So we're in a partnership with the Flying Squirrels, just with Project Repurpose. They love them,
Mhm.
and
And
they
what
give.
is Project Repurpose? What is that?
Um, we take we get a lot of donations of cards. The ones we don't use for the
Mhm.
product, we
Mhm.
repackage into, foil packs and then give them to nonprofits, put them in boxes. We have a team of family and friends that get together
Mhm.
and repackage them. And then we're starting next month, meetings at local breweries and other places for our general fan base to come out and help us do it, because we've had some very generous donors
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
we've got about 10,000 cards that we're ready to give to schools and teachers and
Yeah, and
fire stations.
not only that, but these have gone like the schools and have schools. I mean, from the educational value, having been a former teacher, cards are amazing. And when we drop them off at schools, teachers love them. They're using them in curriculum. They're using them in lesson plans. The front side is so visual with the players, or whatever the card is. The back
Uh-huh.
side has data, has statistics.
Right.
So it's not just we're
Math,
donating them for
math and
joy,
culture.
absolutely,
Yeah.
but there's a whole other component to them.
What about Pokemon cards?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. We
Yep.
got those
Yeah,
too.
that's
Yeah.
nice.
All sorts.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so what I'm perplexed about, not perplexed, but so you went from, what you told me just at the bar getting responses from people to, okay, now we're making them and selling them at pop-ups. Now you're affiliated with the Flying Squirrels, and you're at Independence Golf Course. So how did you bridge that gap from just being, just another, I'm not going to say crafter, but kind of that was your start, to being affiliated with, you know, really Richmond
Yeah.
businesses and entities?
We're
Was that
yeah.
a hard transition?
We're a great team. Like Dean is the person, like is the, people person who has set up a lot of these relationships. I'm really good at on the backside of organizing the business side. So we've been able to get Dean out there to meet people and
Was that
establish
hard at
these
first for
connections.
you, Dean? How did you
No.
break through the, the front lines of the secretary who says, sure, he'll call you back, and then he doesn't, that kind of thing. The
Yeah, I mean,
gatekeeper.
that happens,
I know
but
you gave the gatekeeper a coaster and said, all right, you keep
you know
this."
what? Like when we talk about the joy, yes, there is a truth to that. I
Okay.
mean, and it's one of those things where um some of it is sort of the prior history or relationships that both Jake and I have had that we go back and access and talk. And we meet people. Both of our daughters were in high school or just graduated last year, so there were relationships within schools, and that's because people love them. And so they would say, "Hey, did you talk to this person? Did you talk to that person?" And I also think that going into it, I don't think either one of us were approaching it from a hobby or from a craftsmanship. We knew that at the very beginning, this was a viable business and one that could be ultimately and hopefully, at some point we see the end goal. And so, from that standpoint, it was also connecting with not just the hobby and the arts and crafts is an amazing culture. I've been in it, but also we needed to connect with business cultures and
Yes.
businesses.
And what is
And,
your end goal? What is your end goal?
oh,
Oh boy, how much
Well,
time do you have, Lisa?
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
right,
No, we
Hey,
like,
you guys brought it up, not me.
I
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I don't want to be in coasters when I'm 70. Let's
Yeah.
just put it that way.
Okay, all right, okay. So, are you going to franchise? Are you going to? Is this
Yeah.
franchisable?
Well,
Is there a business
what-
model that you can
what
franchise?
we're in the medium term, what I'm gearing to do is to take our project repurpose program where we get people together to repackage cards. We can do that on a regional or national level by getting the right partners in other parts of the country. And so I would love to spread our mission that way. And then as a side effect of that, of course, the brand, we want to license like some really big time artists like to be on our platform of coasters.
Oh,
And
cool.
so we particularly like in the music industry and in art, we've got several partnerships right now with Hamilton Glass.
And
And
we started Hamilton's. We partner with Hamilton. Joe Seipel, who's remarkable. Joe Seipel was the head of the School of the Arts for VCU, retired. He's in his mid 70s, and we brought back an unbelievable sort of, I don't know, it was a business of his called Happy States that he set up in the early 80s. So we brought that back, and that's been huge. We were just talking to another acquaintance that we met at I don't know, where did we meet, Sam? I don't know.
We've got another product line that we're launching as a test at Pride that we're working with an author, and it'll be an accompaniment to a really enjoyable book. So
You sure you don't want to share that?
I don't know. It may not be.
Yeah,
It's an adult cartoon book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So about
I mean,
it's if you give a bunny a beer is the name of the book.
Okay.
And so it's the bunny like as a coaster, and it sells like the book sells like mad.
Right.
So
it does. I mean, see, this is what you get with Jake and I.
I'll tell you, you have a lot of irons in the fire, and I'm not surprised when I read your bios, you were like all over the place, but yet still on track with what you both liked. So it was interesting to see that, and very philanthropic along the way as well. But I just want to thank you both. I want to wish you a happy Father's Day to both of you. I'm glad you came on Richmond Business Babes, and I will try to stop by Independence and check you guys out. I would like to do that.
Okay. Well,
Please.
thank you so much,
Yeah.
Lisa.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Lisa. Appreciate
much
it. And Ron,
success.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep, Ron.
They're talking to you, Ron.
Thank
Say
you
thank
guys so
you.
much.
They said thank
Thank you.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you,
right.
gentlemen.
Thank you. Keep us posted with what's going on.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care. All right. Well, that was Jake Pasternak and Dean Whitlock of Jake and Dean's Uncommon Coasters, and they really are cool. And they're more than really just coasters. I was at a show and I saw them, and I really liked the product line, and we kind of struck up a conversation, and there you go. So so next up, when they call in, which should be any
Well,
moment,
they're not calling. I mean, they're not.
you could send the link
I just sent
if
the
you
link.
like. Oh, okay,
I
you
just
did.
sent the
Okay,
link,
thank
yeah.
you. Next up, we are going to talk to a husband and wife, Robert and Kristen Bortone, and hopefully their daughter, because this is our Father's Day show. And June is for dads and dollars, family businesses getting the job done. And so we are going to meet the Bartones and their daughter, who also is part of the business.
Mhm.
They operate Kristen's Kitchen food truck, and they have 2 food trucks now. So they're
Oh.
doing very well. So when they come on, we'll be talking to them. But as you may know, you are listening to WRWK 93.9 FM, The Work. I am your host, Lisa Linnell, and with me is the remarkable Ron, my producer. And this is Richmond Business Babes. And if you want to check out previous shows, you can go to our website, which is richmondbusinessbabes.com, where you can listen to previous podcasts. And basically, we focus on business women who are doing what they love, loving what they do, owning and operating their own small businesses. This is June, Father's Day month, so we have dads on too
Of course.
to honor the dads. And if you didn't know, Father's Day is actually June 18th, which is not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And I was looking at a magazine called what was that? City Lifestyle, I think it was, or maybe it was
A Richmond
Richmond
magazine?
Magazine. It might have been Richmond Magazine,
Mm.
but they said some cool things that are, maybe a little bit different that you can do on Father's Day to spend time with your dad is number 1, go bowling. Woo! Do you like to bowl?
Not a whole lot, but looks like fun if you have nothing else to do.
I like the feeling of being in a bowling alley.
Oh,
Yeah. I've been to, there's one in Scott's Addition, River City Bowl. That is cool.
oh,
It doesn't even feel like a bowling alley. It just feels like a really upscale urban venue with like a bar and tables, and it just happens to have bowling alleys there, lanes to bowling. So it's really neat. So that's one of the things you can do with your dad. And it's always fun to play the arcades as well. Do you like playing arcades?
never got into that actually.
Okay. I like skee ball. Do you know
Skee-ball.
what that is?
No.
Okay. It's like it's on an angle, and you get, I don't know, 5 or 6 balls that just are like released, after you put the money in,
Mhm.
and then you throw the ball up the ramp, sort of like a ramp, and it's got different levels of
Here they come.
holes
Hang on a
in
second.
it to earn different points. Okay, so I think our second guest is here. So let me tell you a little bit about Robert Bortone and Kristen Bortone, husband and wife and owners of Kristen's Kitchen food truck. And I believe they may have their daughter with them as well. So let me give you a proper introduction for the Bortones. So Kristen tells me that she and Robert have been together for 20 years. They met at Applebee's, which was her first job at age 16. So she's always had an interest in being in the food industry since age 16. They have 4 children, and their children work with them in Kristen's Kitchen food truck. She started it in 2020 when she lost her job due to COVID. So she had the opportunity to buy a food truck, and now she's progressed to a second food truck, which her husband, who Robert Bortone, is a licensed contractor. He actually made her the second food truck, so it's customized just around her work needs. So
Wow.
I think that's awesome. So welcome, Robert Bortone and Kristen Bortone of Kristen's Kitchen to Richmond Business Babes. How are you?
Hello, we're good. How are you?
Oh, we're
Hey,
doing
good to have us.
great.
We're good.
Oh,
Glad y'all had us.
I'm so glad you're here. And now, is your daughter here as well, or is she in school right now? Or
No, Emily's with us.
Hi,
hi, what is your name, hon?
Emily.
Emily Bortone. Well, it's nice to meet you. And am I pronouncing your last name correctly, by the way?
It's actually Bortone. It's Italian.
Oh, okay. And I'm Italian. I should know that. Bortone. Hey, Bortone.
Nobody ever gets it right. So don't feel bad.
Sorry. So we're talking about dads and daughters and family businesses, and of course, wives, Kristen. So walk us down the career path. Kristen, you started the business in 2020. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So walk us down that career path. You lost a job due to COVID. What were you doing at that
Yeah.
time?
So like I said, Rob and I, we've been together for 20 years. I was in the restaurant industry for many, many years, but actually in 2020, I was working at a chain gym. I was an aquatics manager as well as a cycle instructor, not in the restaurant industry at all.
Mm-hmm.
But then COVID came, and because of working in a gym, we lost our job.
Mm-hmm.
And I was blessed with the opportunity to buy a food truck, and it was just there. And we had the money, and my husband kind of just pushed me to do it, and we just kind of never looked back. I don't know.
That's exciting. Well, with your restaurant background, you probably had the confidence level, to do it. But were you also, both of you, wondering, like, if COVID goes on, is this like a foolish move or a good move because people are outside? Like, what were your
Yeah,
thoughts
it was
about that?
definitely a journey. Like, we were excited. We didn't know what to expect, really.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
Well, just
think?
like starting any business, it's always scary. So, we decided to just go ahead and take the leap. And it was definitely very slow to start, but once we learned more and gotten in better at what we're doing as far as places we go and food we serve and everything like that, it really all just came together. And it's been a huge success over the last year, really.
That's great.
So,
Yeah, and there's so many more events now that everything's lifted, right?
yeah, everything came back, and we were even successful when things were still kind of shut down a little bit. So
Yeah, it was actually a blessing because a lot of places, the restaurants were closed down. So we were
Mhm.
going to neighborhoods and delivering
Yes.
food to people. And it
Yes.
was great.
I've talked to other food truck owners, and that's what they've said that they had done. And Emily, how old are you right now?
I am almost 14.
Okay. So when this all happened, your mom and dad said to you one day, "Hey, guess what, hon? We're buying a food truck and you can work on it." You were 11 then, I guess?
Yeah, I think I was 11.
Okay. What were your thoughts? What did you say? Did you say, "What? You're buying a food truck?" Or you were like, "Cool." What were your thoughts about that?
I was excited.
Uh-huh. Did it turn out the way you thought it would, or is it different than what you envisioned, Emily?
It's definitely a lot different now that we have a bigger food truck.
Uh-huh. Do you like that better?
I enjoy it a lot more.
Good, good. That's good because it's probably, I mean, some food trucks, if you've got two people back there, you're kind of almost stepping on each other, and you're hurrying and hustling and everything else. So, what do you like best about working with your mom and dad, Emily Bortone?
It's just, since I know them, it's easier and I can be more comfortable around them.
Yeah.
I know like what they want,
Mhm.
and it's just like a lot different than if I were to work with other people that I don't know.
Right, right. That's great. Well, it's a wonderful first experience in the job market. And Kristen, what does Kristen's Kitchen's food trucks, now that you have two, what do you specialize in?
So we're all American classics. My specialties is I love small space, big taste is my logo, and I love big portions.
Uh-huh.
We sell barbecue, steak and cheese, tacos. I'll cater special events. Like I did tacos and tequila. We did barbecue tacos, shrimp tacos, steak tacos. I like to do all kinds of stuff. Crab cakes have been my really big
Oh,
hit in the
wow.
truck. My new
Do you
secret
have a
weapon.
special
Everybody's been loving my crab cakes.
special recipe for that? I like crab cakes.
So I can't give you my recipe, but I will tell you that I put absolutely no bread fillers in my crab meat. It's
Oh.
nothing but special seasonings, and all I use is an egg for binder.
Wow. I bet that's good. Ron, do you like crab cakes, Ron?
No.
No?
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm with you.
definitely.
Now I'm with you. Crab cakes is okay.
That's one
Oh.
of the things I eat on our truck pretty regularly. That and our barbecue fries.
So you never have to go out for dinner. You've just got dinner right there, ready to go.
We do. That's right.
So when you first said in 2020, Kristen Bortone, when you first said, okay, we're going to do this, and your husband encouraged you, you said you found a food truck. There was a pre-existing food truck for sale. Is that correct?
There was this little tiny little trailer parked downtown in front of Gusty's restaurant supply store.
Okay, I know where
And
that
it's
is. Yeah.
it was this tiny little trailer, and it was already made up. It's literally just enough room for two people to barely fit into it. But
Okay.
it was a full functioning kitchen. It had fryers and a flat and a fridge and a freezer.
Uh-huh.
And
And
we were able to make it into a really functionable business.
yeah, I saw the picture of your food truck online, and it's really cute. It looks happy,
Thank you.
was
The bigger
that-
one my husband just built me? I mean, it is.
For that.
Yeah, we're getting ready to get a wrap on it so people will notice us. It's
Oh.
currently gray, but on the inside, it's bigger than most commercial kitchens that I've worked in. I mean, I have
Really?
2 double fryers. I have deep freezers, 2 commercial size deep freezers. I mean, it's a blessing.
Wow. Now, the very first food truck was really a trailer. In other words, it didn't have a motor. You had to tow it, right?
Yep. So they're both actual trailers.
Okay. And years ago, I interviewed a gal, and I think her business was Boardwalk Fries. Is that a food
Okay.
truck?
Yep, I've heard of them.
Okay. So, and she said that she opted for the trailer versus the actual physical truck that you drive. And the reason that she did it that way is because she said if you ever had a mechanical problem with the truck, you're kind of stuck.
Absolutely.
But
Yep,
with the
that's
trailer, you
exactly
can,
the
yeah,
same
you can
reason.
always hook it up to another pickup or, anything. So you have options, right?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we decided to go that route. There's a couple other reasons too. Sometimes you can fit it in smaller spaces, and
Hmm.
there's more room inside of it. Is the biggest thing compared to an
Oh.
actual truck. It's
I
hard to get
did
that
not
much
know
space.
that. Okay. And so how much was, if you're comfortable telling me, Kristen Bortone of Kristen's Kitchen, how much was the cash outlay for that first food truck for the purchase? Well, it's really a trailer for the purchase of it, and then the modifications that you made to it.
So the little yellow one that we bought already made, or the one my husband just did?
No, the first one, the little yellow one, the 2021.
So I'll let Robert tell you
Yeah,
about
the first
that
one was we paid $25,000 for it. It was a brand new trailer with all brand new equipment, never been used.
Oh.
And then we invested about another $5,000 into other stuff that was required for it.
Mm-hmm.
So the initial investment was $30,000.
Okay. And why was it being sold if it was brand? I see. I was picturing it to be
was the
older.
manufacturer. We bought it from the guy that built it.
Oh, okay. I thought somebody was selling a used trailer, a food truck trailer.
No, we bought a new one. It was made right out of the manufacturing company that makes them.
Oh, okay. All right.
My grandparents had actually passed away the year prior, and we were blessed with a little bit of money. And so we were looking for a way to invest,
Mm-hmm.
and the food truck just happened to be
Mm-hmm.
our blessing to invest
Well,
in.
I know you're sorry they passed, but you probably feel a stronger connection just knowing
Oh,
that.
yeah. I mean, I cooked my entire life with my granny. So to be able to cook for
That's
other people
nice.
is awesome.
And now Emily's cooking with you, so the heritage continues. And Emily, what is your favorite sort of position when you're doing, when you're at an event? Are you liking to take the orders, or are you liking to cook, or you do a little bit of everything?
I like to cook. So Emily's more of like my sous chef. She kind of she's my right-hand man. I put her on the side of me and she gets all of my plates ready for me. She gets everything set up. She's more like my expo person.
All right,
She's
cool.
not much of a talker. She's learning how to take orders now. We're getting her to take the orders now.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And Robert, you are behind the scenes funding it, or you're actually also there at the events?
Oh no, I'm there at every event. I'm actually the guy that takes the orders.
Okay.
So if you ever come out to see us at the truck, it'll probably be me taking orders, and I yell them into Kristen and Emily, or either Kristen and my son Nathan, and they do the cooking. I can cook, and I do on occasion, but it's pretty rare that I do.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, I enjoy being there. I love talking to people. So I love seeing people's faces when we put such great food out the window.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's just really cool for me all the way around. And that's what I used to do when I would work in the restaurants. Was I was a server bartender. So
And that's how you
it-
both met in Applebee's, right?
exactly. And like I said, it's the same thing as talking to people. And I enjoy talking to people. I can talk to just about anybody, really.
That's great. That's really great. Well, Emily, the name of my show is called Richmond Business Babes. That's the name of the show. But this episode, Emily, is June is for dads and dollars, family businesses getting the job done. So you are in a family business working with your dad. As you work with him, is there anything that surprises you or makes you love him more, or makes you feel like, wow, he's a really cool guy? I didn't know that about that. Were there any surprises?
Huh?
Answer her. I don't know how to answer that.
It's a strange question. Don't worry about it. If you think of something, just blurt it out. But my own dad has passed. But as I reflect on his life and all the stories he told, and just silly things, it's just such a pleasure to remember, things about him, and this is really memory making for your family, Robert. So that's wonderful.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, well, I'll turn this question over to you and Kristen. So, when you're working as a husband-wife team, were there any surprises for you where maybe you disagreed on things, or are you pretty much on the same page for the most part, or where there's little things you had to
No,
tweak?
I would say we definitely had our disagreements. There's no question about that. It's a
Okay.
learning process. So we'll try things and see what works and what doesn't. So sometimes she's right, sometimes I'm right. We kind of go back and forth.
Uh-huh.
Most of the times I'm right.
Yeah, right. Emily does great. I think she has probably learned a lot about the working process and stuff like that, and how hard me and Mom really actually do work. I know she has a hard time putting that in words, but
Uh-huh.
she definitely has been in big events where we're struggling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, oh, we ran out of
Definitely.
ice or straws
Oh, yeah,
or
just line out
napkins
the door,
or
just
yeah.
kind of situation.
Huge, yeah.
Yeah.
Just put her in.
But overall, yeah, I think we do get along really well, and her ideas work sometimes, my ideas work sometimes, so it's really good to bounce stuff off of each other, and we're just still steady learning and growing every day. I mean, every time we go out and do an event, we're learning something new. So.
Yeah.
What,
But as
yeah.
far as working together, I think the three of us really are the dream team. Like, he
Ah.
works
Yeah,
with
that's
very
what she
well.
calls us.
We're the dream team. I've tried to hire employees. I've had other people come in,
Uh-huh.
and it's just not the same without him as in the window and me cooking and having a kid in there with us.
That's beautiful. Well, it's a dream probably a lot of families have. What would you say to anybody who's listening, who's maybe contemplating starting something in the food industry, the hospitality industry, what advice would you give them? What have you
I
learned?
would say absolutely pursue your dreams. Go
Mhm.
for it.
Mhm.
And it's trial and error. You know, you're going to learn a lot. Everything is a learning lesson.
Mhm.
But you're never going to know until you do it.
Yeah. What was your biggest aha moment so far?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. There's just been so many. I mean, like you said, literally every time you go out, there's a learning
Yeah.
curve. Just knowing your worth, I think, has been my biggest aha moment. Knowing that, you know, it takes a lot to get a food truck out to a location, and
Mhm.
knowing what you're worth for your.
Yeah, I'd say one of the biggest aha moments for us was the first big event we did.
Mhm.
You know, we had to use another company's point of sale system, so we learned a lot from that. We learned a lot about the pricing, and we just, I'd say that one event really changed things.
Yeah, the PGA event definitely helped.
Uh-huh. Was it hard to get events initially? Like now you have a history and a reputation, and so, you know, there's probably no problem with that, but
yeah, it was definitely far slower the first year. I mean, because you just don't know where to start. You know what I mean?
how did you start? Like you targeted an event?
Friends. We had the PGA tour event.
Originally, we started on the side of the road, just parking the trailer and seeing how it would go. You know, I mean, obviously we wouldn't do that again, but you know, you got to start somewhere.
Right. What road was that?
Jeff Davis.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We went out there and parked right on the side of the road.
Okay.
Busy road.
In the winter, mind you.
Selling soup. But
That's funny.
we've definitely come a long way with our menu. We started out with hot dogs and Brunswick stew.
Okay.
And now we serve steak, crab, chicken, chicken wings, barbecue. All
And why did you transition from sort of more basic cuisine like a hot dog? Like, why is that no longer?
Because I realized that you can do so much more with the small space. I was limiting myself by thinking that you could only do so much in a food truck when in reality it's the same thing as a kitchen restaurant, and I could do anything that I wanted in there.
But and now that's a good point, because I would think that out of a crowd of say 1,000 people, and I'm just guessing this, I'm going to say at least maybe 100 of those people want a hot dog. But out of a crowd of 1,000 people, maybe only 50 want a crab cake. So there's a trade-off there. But then the crab cake probably has a higher profit margin for the same amount of effort.
A profit margin, it's profit per space. So, you know, originally we got a smaller truck, so we can only hold a certain amount of product in there. So you're going to get more out of a steak or a crab cake than you are out of a hot dog.
Right. That makes sense. Profit per space. That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I built my second truck, was based on how much food I can store in it. So the more food I can store in it, the more sales I can do per day.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's a good lesson for you, Emily. That's like a math lesson, right? So, you know, not only are you, you know, cooking, but you're really, I would imagine you're also gaining math skills as in terms of, you know, what's profitable and what's not. Have you thought about it that way, Emily?
Working on the food truck has definitely opened a whole new world of different learning opportunities that will definitely help me.
And I wouldn't describe what she's learning as math skills, because it is basic math skills, but what it really is entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Excellent. Self-sufficiency. That's what it's all about. Well, Robert, Bortone, and Kristen, and Emily, thank you so much for coming on Richmond Business Babes. I am so happy that you did. And also happy Father's Day to you, Robert.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And thank you very much for having us on your show.
Absolutely. You take care, and all the best to you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too. All right. Well, that wraps up. June is for Dads and Dollars, family businesses getting the job done. And that was Kristen's Kitchen owners, Robert Bortone and Kristen Bortone, and their daughter Emily, who is with them. And I'm Lisa Linnell, your host. Check us out on richmondbusinessbabes.com, where we podcast. And thanks for listening to WRWK 93.9 FM.
Indeed. Where things are happening. Thank you, Lisa. I'll close the show and move back to our. We have a recorded show from. Actually, it's from the Sierra Club. Very informative and fresh one every week. I think you'll love it. So, without further ado, well, another 6 seconds of ado. Here goes. This is WK, LPFM, Chesterfield.
Hello, listeners.
Midlothian.
Welcome to another episode of How About We Don't, the Pollution Solution Show, the official podcast of the Sierra Club Virginia chapter. Today's episode features